Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's tips and tricks call for the month of June, something that we look forward to every single month. The goal here is to take some dives into some areas that may be overlooked or underutilized. Also, we use it to announce different new features that are being added to the audience platform. And we hope that you take this half hour and find it valuable. And we're grateful that you are here to spend some time with us. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tim Sessions. I'm the Director of Client Services. And on the call as well as we have Jay Mackin and Leilani Villanova. They're going to be tag teaming some questions and feedback, because today we're going to be talking about the new audience platform / dashboard. I'm also going to be showing where certain things are now. We're about a month into this launch, so I want to make sure that everyone's comfortable with the platform, give you some ideas of what's around the corner, and we do have an exciting announcement about an application that will be announcing on Thursday, but since you all showed up today, I'll announce it early. I like to do that. I like to jump the gun a little bit on these calls and give some spoilers. So hopefully that's exciting for you. Let's take a look at the agenda. Today, we are going to be talking about the new audience dashboard. Now, I believe most of you are probably on the webinar. If not, you saw it when we announced the dashboard and walked through it. Ross and I did that presentation. But I just want to double down on a few things, show you where a few things are, and make sure that we're 100% comfortable with that. So stick with me. There might be some new stuff that you learn. Also, I think if you're here, you probably saw our email that we send out on Monday announcing a new application. This one is the Pro Football Survival Challenge. I'll give you some more details on that, and then a link to register for the webinar, which will be taking place this Thursday, if you haven't done that already as well. But also, what we like to do on this call is give away $100 to Amazon. So the link is up on the screen. However, I believe Leilani will drop that in the chat for everyone. So go ahead and click that link, get entered, and let's get somebody on this call $100 to Amazon. Also, at the end of this call is some survey feedback. We do take a look at the survey feedback that you all give and try to improve. So please fill that out at the end of the call as well. It'll pop up after the call is concluded. Also, in the questions section, I'd also love to get a little bit more feedback. Now, since most, if not all of you, have spent about a month in the new redesign, would love to hear what you think. We did get a lot of great feedback during the submission period and the beta testing. I actually have a bag of gift cards for those who did give feedback during that time. So if you're wondering where that is, they're all addressed. I just need to get them down to the post office and send those out. So for those of you who participated in that, thank you so much. All right, let's just jump right into what I wanted to show you here. I'm going to actually just jump right into the audience dashboard. So bear with me as I make a few switches and we should be good. All right, so something that we touched on in the presentation that we gave, we did 3 different webinars about the audience redesign. Something that we touched on but didn't go into a ton of detail is the profile information. We've moved that section down to the bottom left corner. And when you click on it, you can log out or open up your profile information. Now, there's several things you can actually do here besides just updating your profile. So if I need to change my name, phone number, password, that's where this all takes place. But there's a few tabs, and these have always been available prior to the launch of the redesign, but I wanted to cover those as well so that you remember where to find these if it ever comes up. A few of these items are set it and forget it type items, so it might be easy to say, hey, I remember where I saw that, or I remember seeing this, but I can't remember where it's at. So just to reiterate, the stuff that we'll be touching on in this section, you click on your profile information in the bottom left-hand corner, and then you have these tabs across the top. So you have your user profile. For those of you who have permissions to update your account details, this is to update this specific account. Oftentimes we get requests for our TV or radio station partners saying that there's been a format change or a name change or a signal change. A lot of that can be taken care of by you. There's no need to write into support and wait for one of us to walk you through it. You can update your own account details if you have those permissions. If you don't, then definitely someone within your organization who I'm sure you have contact info for can make those updated account details. Something that you may not know existed was the ability to select the events that you'd like to receive emails for. So if you're curious as to what's going on within your account, because I'm logged into my audience.io email account, I can choose different notifications that I receive as people navigate through and make changes within the dashboard. So you can get little updates if you're interested in seeing what people or what's taking place within the account. So you can go through, opt into some of these email notifications, and this might help you manage what's going on within specific accounts. So that's the email preferences. Next one is custom fields. Now, when we talk about custom fields, what we're actually talking about is creating your own short codes. There are some tips and tricks webinars and some walkthroughs on short codes at help.appdevada.com. We're still switching that URL over to audience.io, but currently it's help.appdevada.com on what short codes do, but they can really actually speed up the process of contest creation, campaign creation. You can insert these short codes into various areas and it will auto-populate that information as long as that short code is in place. For instance, if you enter today's giveaway, you should have received an entry confirmation email, and in that entry confirmation email, it gives an approximate date and time that the winner will be chosen. I've actually done that using a short code. So it's saying at the contest end date and end time, display this. So that's something that I set up a long time ago, and it just kind of runs itself. We could talk about short codes in another tips and tricks call. Feel free to let us know in the chat if that's something you would be interested in. Also, there's some self-help or self-learning resources, not self-help. We're not in that business. Anyway, but you can actually create your own custom fields or custom short codes for that. So for instance, here's some tests that we've done, but what you do here is you can set your values. So like if I know what my Facebook or YouTube subscribe value is for my channel, I could actually put that in, and anytime that I use that short code, it's gonna pop up that information right within my campaign that I'm building. And you can see that we have the ones in orange are preset, the ones in green are ones that have been created. So any sort of social platforms or anything that you want to utilize short codes for. I've spent enough time on that. Let's move on. User attributes are really cool because basically what these do is these allow you to create any field, if you're familiar with the our entry form, and I could jump over to it and show you this, but for now, just use your mind's eye. In our entry form, there's 4 different types of fields that you can add. There's user fields, input fields, social fields, and then other fields. Well, what's cool about these user attributes is you can turn any input field into a user attribute. So you can see on this account, I have company name. What that means is as you are entering the giveaway that we have, I've created this as a user attribute. So anytime you put in the company, that information sticks with you with your user profile. So if you think about it in creating a profile sense, with our user fields, you have first name, last name, email, zip code, birthday, and so forth. Things that generally don't change, that stick with you with your profile as you are entering various campaigns within my platform. So this applies to the same this applies to the end users of your platform as well. So you can ask for additional information. So for me, here's company name. If something that you want to have stick with your users is, let's say, income level, then you could build out this custom user attribute. And then when you ask for income level on the form, you can assign that user attribute to the to that individual user. And then what's nice about this is with the integrations, you could then send that user attribute information over to your third party, email or CRM provider. So this company info updates in our email account, so that if there's any filter that I want to run in my email account of various companies that you all work for, I can do that on the email side. So happy to answer any questions about that outside of this call. If you want to write into support, feel free to do that. User exclusion list. I guess the more harsh term for this is the blacklist. So if you have users that you feel like are abusing the entry form or entry entry field, you can actually blacklist based on email address or IP address. So if you feel like there's a household or a company that's really, or a business that everyone's entering from the same IP address, you can actually whitelist or blacklist or exclude that IP address or email address. Now, this doesn't mean that that individual can't enter. They'll just see a pop-up that says, there's been multiple entries from this account, please verify your email address. So it's another step to verifying, but you can assign specific users to that using these exclusion filters there. So that can come in handy to help weed out any bad actors, I guess, so to speak. So that is all found under your profile and then profile information. Again, just to recap there. So everything we talked about, a lot of useful tools for you all to play around with. Just wanted to make sure that you all remember that. Something that I forgot to mention, if you do have any questions, feel free to ask that in the Q&A section. Those will be displayed for everyone. So a lot of times we get questions asked in the chat section and not everyone gets to see those. So if you have any questions about what you're seeing, don't hesitate to reach out there. We've moved reporting around, so it's all focused in one area now. That was one of my personal bits of feedback to the team as we were going through this redesign, is I wanted to make sure that reporting was all in the same place. So I wanted to make sure to point that out to you as well. So by clicking on the reporting icon, maybe you've already explored this section, but I just wanted to go through it one more time to update you on how everything is in one spot. Now, looking at this, we have 4 tabs across the top. In the current tab, this is reporting just for this specific account. So I'm in the audience account. And so any reporting that takes place or that I filter through here is only going to be applied to the audience account. However, if I jump into the network stats, because this is a parent account with several child accounts, then this is what's going to give me the stats and numbers across the entire network. Again, I believe we've done some tips and tricks and videos on the reporting section, so you can find those at help.appdevata.com if you have any questions about what you're seeing here. We also moved the audience insights and platform insights into this section. Previously, it was on the home screen, but we really wanted to simplify the home screen, so I feel like this is an appropriate spot for the audience insights and platform insights. What we're talking about here is how many users have been gained by participating in various campaigns across my network. So you can see I have a few different layouts here. So we have market ranking, station ranking, and so forth. So we've collected 6,222 users, and you can play with the custom dates. And then our platform insights. This is how you all are interacting with the platform itself. So it's going to give you active admins, different types of campaigns created, and engagement there. These numbers look kind of weak because this is just a demo account. Hopefully you all have more populated information there. All right. So that's all under reporting. It's all in one spot, one and done. So I really like that. And with reporting, we're actually looking at adding some more features, some better metrics, things that will work for you all in reporting, not only to your superiors or to your people that you have to report to or display to, but also, you know, your sponsors as well. So we can look forward to that. I've jumped into the campaigns tab. I believe that you're all pretty familiar with what's going on in the campaigns tag, or campaign section, because you're here. You all are veterans at this point, and you've built plenty of promotions. Now, something that we get asked, especially with the redesign, is where did the syndication settings go? And what we decided to do is, rather than ask upon creation of the campaign, you create the campaign and then you select the syndication method that you want to take place. So let's look at this Keep Trucking giveaway here. Looks like it was freshly created. It's an older promotion, but now that it's been created, I can go into more settings and then select my syndication type. Now, you should all be familiar with what the different types are. And just so you know that seems kind of hidden, but we are working to add this as a more prominent feature up here as a tab at the top. So you're still going to create the promotion or campaign and then syndicate it using a tab at the top. But in its current state, and we'll be sure to announce it once it's live, but in its current state, you'll find that under more settings and then have the ability to select hosted or template. Now, we use syndication and distribution synonymously. So when you see distribution on the campaign filter, then that's what we're referring to there. So there's a good chance that that word syndication on this dropdown will be updated to distribution, as well as when we add that tab at the top. So want to make sure that you're all aware of that. And yeah, hopefully that answers some questions if anyone was stuck on wondering how to distribute a campaign down to the child accounts there. So while I'm in the campaign section, a lot of you do utilize our promotions or campaigns grid to display the campaigns on your websites. So I just wanted to go over that. We did touch on where that's at in the webinar that we hosted, talking about the relaunch. But when you click filter and sort, scroll down, you'll see a toggle to toggle on the campaign grid. Now, we don't have a lot of stuff going on this account. Let me actually switch to a different account here since we're done talking about syndication. There we go. Let's look at one that might have a little bit more information on it. Whoops. We're going to get to user base in just a second. All right, so with the campaign grid, okay, this one looks a little better. We only have one promotion or campaign running at this time, but I toggled this on. This gives my campaign grid view, and here's where you can set how you would like that to appear on your campaign grid. Now, some of you are using our SDK, and a lot of that ties into these settings as well. So even though you don't have our campaign grid directly embedded to your site, some of the actions here do affect how yours displays on your website. There's several groups that are using the SDK with that. So you should already be familiar with some of these options, but you can feature when upcoming or live, show when upcoming or live, show when upcoming live or recently expired, and so on. If it's something you don't want to show on the grid, then of course you can click hide from grid. And then also handily, we have the campaign ID down there at the bottom. A lot of time when requesting support, we ask for that campaign ID. And that's just one area where you can quickly find that. So that's handy. Another thing too is this is where you can set your grid settings. Now we understand, especially with a lot of our media partners, that the FCC requires you to have a set of rules on your website for up to 30 days for even after the the promotion or campaign has been expired, and that's this is where you can adjust that time frame under the grid settings here. Also, you can throw in some custom CSS if you're familiar with CSS and have a little web design skill that you want to throw in there. You can use custom CSS on the campaign grid. But with this recently expired time frame with the campaign grid, if I select show an upcoming live or recently expired, then when it's expired, the promotion will no longer be able to be entered, but the access to the rules will still be there. So again, you can set that under your grid settings. And then if I had multiple promotions live, I can actually click and drag those around to arrange them, or we could do it chronologically or random as well. So just want to make sure everyone was aware of where the campaign grid view has moved to. Originally, that was right on the front page as well, but we decided to throw that in the campaign section. All right, last but not least, and then we'll get into our announcement. Let's talk a little bit about user base and some of the new features there. I believe we have chatted about this in some previous tips and tricks, and I do have to jump back to my audience account. I jumped the gun on that one there. So within user base, we've added a few features that make this tool a lot more useful, and we're going to continue to add to this, making user base a lot more powerful. So I want you all to be familiar with user base, run some queries, test it, see if it works for you, and then also anything that you would like to see within user base, please don't hesitate to share with us. But a few of the things that I wanted to point out here is that when you run filters, you can now filter across your entire network just by clicking search child account. So as I create these filters and add my conditionals, I could find everyone who's entered a promotion whose first name is Tim, and then that would go across all my networks. So there's a lot of Tim. It looks like I've done a lot of testing here with various Tim names. But so yeah, this is pulling from not only the main account, but also the child accounts as well. So, it's a little obscure checkbox, but I want to make sure that you all know that that does do a lot. Also here we can search across the entire network since I am in an audience parent account. Let's see, I don't know if let's try my old email address and see what pops up for me here. With different privacy rules. Oh, looks like I'm not in this one. Let me try audience. With some testing there. Let's just do demo since I know that one exists, fingers crossed. There we go. So I've searched demo. It pops up my user information. I can view what I have entered. And then of course, if I wrote in and said, hey, remove my account, this is going to completely remove my information and history. And this will do it for across the entire network. Whereas previously, it would only remove from the account that that you found it in there, or that I entered through there. So wanted to make sure that you were well aware of that, so that we can respect people's privacy as they may or may not have concerns around that. Last but not least, in user base, what I want to talk about is you may have seen when you're creating a campaign, the ability to tag that campaign. So if it's a golf giveaway, you can tag it with golf. You're running it in June and you're running it in 2022. So you could tag your campaign with golf, June, and 2022. Now, something that audience does that might be a little different from other platforms that you might use that allow for tagging is that you can actually retroactively tag campaigns. So let's say you had a campaign that ran in 2019 that was also a golf campaign, and you wanted to make sure that everyone who entered that campaign showed up when you searched or when you added the filter golf in user base. You can actually retroactively tag campaigns. So you could go into your campaign list, find all the golf contests, throw in that golf tag, so that now when you're using user base, you can search, I'll just show you. You can have a segment and you can add a new conditional, and has entered, let's say, sweepstakes tagged with golf. Now I doubt there are any sweepstakes ran that were tagged with golf, so it's not going to update my results for me there. The reason why I'm pointing this out is, with other platforms, a lot of times you have to set your tags first, and then that tag information gets tied to the user as they move through the system. Well, we don't tie the tags to the individual user, we tie them to the sweepstakes or campaign, which then allows you to filter anyone who's entered a promotion tagged with golf. And the biggest asset that I see here is the ability to retroactively tag campaigns. So if that's something that you want to spend an afternoon doing, and if you haven't gotten in the habit of tagging campaigns, that's a great feature to use, so that you can really categorize your data and see who's entering what. So yeah, just wanted to point that out in user base, make you aware of the tagging feature. But in that sense, everything that I wanted to show you within the dashboard on today's tips and tricks presentation, I have covered. So I want to open it up to questions. It looks like we haven't had any questions that have come in during the presentation, but I also want to open it up to any sort of general feedback that you have now that you've been in the dashboard, the platform for a month with this redesign. Feel free to chat that in. I'm going to go ahead and throw up the question screen here, but also while you are thinking of any questions that you may or may not want to ask, we want to make sure that you have entered to win the $100 gift card. It looks like Leilani has posted that in the chat, so we'll make sure that everyone has a chance to enter. It looks like people are testing the hands up feature right now. When we choose a winner, go ahead and throw your hand up so we know that you're here, because you do have to be present to win. It doesn't look like we're having any questions come in, so let's make sure that we end this on time. So I have the support screen here. Oh, okay, here's something that just came into chat, but we'll go ahead and announce to everyone. I've noticed that when I hit the back link at the top of the screen, it logs me out every time. Anyone else experiencing that? That is a known concern that has been brought up. We were working through that, and as of this morning, we had reports that that should have been fixed. So I don't know if you're experiencing that still, Carrie, but if so, please let us know so that we can tag that onto the request. So we're working with that. All right, great. Thank you, Carrie. Okay, so it does look like we have a winner selected. Hopefully everyone's entered the giveaway up on the screen. Just gonna hold your attention a little bit longer. We got our support information as well. So with that being said, the winner of today's $100 gift card is Adam Davis. Adam, if you are available, please hit that raise hand button. Oh, there we go. We got a claim on it. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending today's tips and tricks. We really do appreciate the time that you spend with us, and hopefully we can provide you with information. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. We did have a question come in. If people want to jump off, feel free to do so. We have a question. Is there a way to pre-check the completed under campaigns? That is a great question, Nathan. Currently, no, but that is something that we are taking a look at. With the redesign, we decided that we didn't want to show all completed, just because in the old dashboard it would show recently completed, but all completed were kind of hidden under a drop down. We're trying to look for a happy medium there where we can still show recently completed promotions, but not flooding that entire page with every completed promotion that's ever run. So we are looking into that. So that's a great question there. Thanks for asking. I know I did end this for anyone who wants to jump off, but if there are any other questions, I'd love to answer those. If not, we'll have a great rest of your day, and don't hesitate to reach out if anything comes up. Bye.